What's up? It's Trey Harris here, wide receiver for Los Angeles Chargers, and you're tuning in to Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. If this is your first time tuning in to the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein. Chargers somehow found a way by the arm of Justin Herbert to get back in the win column after a dramatic win over the Miami Dolphins on the road. But this week, Dan, it presents a much different test as the Chargers come home, also debuting their gold uniforms for this one against the 5-2 Indianapolis Colts. 5-1, excuse me. Dan, this is a much different test than what you faced in Miami. This is a very talented offense. The defense, I think, is underrated. Lots of different challenges for the Chargers to come up that they're going to be going up against this coming Sunday at SoFi. We got a lot to break down as it relates to this because this is a pivotal matchup, not just from the Chargers standings that they have to worry about in the AFC West, but in the AFC in general, because with the Pittsburgh Steelers losing on Thursday Night Football to the Cincinnati Bengals, Dan, the winner of this game could actually take over the first seed in the AFC. So a lot is riding on this particular game. And for the Chargers, this is a big one. Dan Wolkenstein, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm pumped. This is going to be a big test for this Chargers team, obviously. You're going up against the number one seed in the AFC currently. And don't let this team fool you. They are the top scoring offense in the NFL. I think they are fourth best scoring defense in the NFL.
Don't do it.
They are good on both sides of the ball, and their special teams is damn good. They are coached well. They are above average to very good in basically every category. This is a very good team. You talk about Tyler Warren. We all heard him in the draft. Jonathan Taylor is going absolute God mode. Daniel Jones resurrecting his entire career. I mean, the team is looking good. And seeing how this Chargers defense has not been as efficient or effective as it's been in weeks past, this will be a test. We have some Chargers Unleashed hotline here today as well, so we'll sprinkle that in. But, Jake, I'm doing good. I'm pumped for the weekend, pumped for this challenge ahead for this Chargers team. Excited to break this one down. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. I'm good. It's a pivotal matchup on Sunday. As we all know, that was down to the wire last week in Miami. Again, whatever you need to do, I'm going into the same mentality for this week against the Colts game. Whatever it takes, find a way. I don't care. But you brought up the good point there, Dan. The defense, which, again, Jesse Minter, from the standpoint that you have historically been able to lean on for this Chargers team, hasn't been the best the last couple of weeks. And a lot of that is due to a certain player being out. But could you get him back this Sunday? We'll find out. Other than that, Dan, I'm tired as hell.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm tired as hell.
It's been a long week. Well, Jake, let's get some sleep. I talk about our friends over at Sleeper.
Try my best. One thing that's not keeping me asleep, and everyone out there should know it, is that right now, you guys all ready for this?
Right now? Like right now?
Right now, at this very moment, the NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to win up to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football with Sleeper. Football has never been more exciting than it is right now with players like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Justin Jefferson. Pick on these stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. Just make sure you use that promo code ChargersLAFB, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. Currently operating in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Chargers Unleashed hotline, 323-902-7586. Let's kick this off with current vibes going into this Chargers game against the Colts. Let's hear what they have to say.
Wah, wah, wah.
He's back, folks. He's back.
Who is this?
You know who this is. And the fans rejoice.
Oh, my God.
He is back, baby.
Bob from Boston. We're going to the Super Bowl. Yay!
First of all, what took him so long to call? Literally, I feel like I haven't talked to him since the first week of the season. Maybe that has been how long it's since he's called into the hotline. I don't know, but there should never be this much time that passes between Bob from Boston calling into the Chargers Unleashed hotline.
Season, yay! Wait, the world is ending. Oh no! Listen, still the ever-loving Lance Allworth out. We are 4-2.
The ever-loving Lance.
What a throwback.
We're good. We might be Super Bowl bound. We might not. Let's enjoy the season, shall we? Now, Dan, you are the absolute worst.
Oh, here we go.
Time
Whoa.
out. Let me just take at least 5 seconds to be happy because I have been the brunt of the calls for Bob from Boston, I think going back to the draft. Whether he wanted to criticize what room color my office is painted at, my sleeveless hoodies that I have.
Black bean soup.
Can I just, and hey, the tune might change here in 10 seconds. Who knows? I don't know. But at least he's starting off by giving you a little bit of crap.
The Chargers win. Your eyes are bulging out of your head like a kid whose dad just gave him his first Playboy magazine. Then
Would you know a thing or two about that?
I can neither confirm nor deny. Yes, I
Smart
would know
man.
something. Yes, I would know something
Smart
about that.
they lose two, and you have that same Home Alone-eyed look, and you look like Jake is stalking you in a hockey mask with the manscaping chainsaw.
There it is. I knew he was going to get to me eventually. Drops one of our former sponsors. Appreciated very much. And there is nothing wrong with that product, by the way.
Manscaping chainsaw. I have questions.
That is a visual.
Calm down, Danny boy. Look, the injury bug has struck this team. Alt, Slater, Hampton, Becton, Mack, Firecracker Harris, Perryman. Not many teams can survive that. I got worried, but I did figure this thing out. I'm from Sicily, and I know the Malocchio when I see it.
A what? I have to Google that while we're sitting here listening. A Malocchio? Clearly, I'm not cultured enough because I have no idea what that is. I know pizza. I know gelato. Not a Malocchio.
Evil eye. Too much has gone down. Here's how you check for the evil eye. You put a drop of olive oil in the water. If the eye appears, you've been cursed. Now, there's a specific prayer you got to use to remove the curse, but you can only give it to someone privately on Christmas Eve.
Where the hell does he find this stuff? And more importantly, has anybody tried this remedy? Because I know he's not the only one that thinks that the Chargers team is cursed. So by all means, if you're still feeling this way, listen up and maybe do this. Who knows? We've tried every other damn thing over the past 50 years. Might as well try this one.
Don't work otherwise. I did try and break the Malocchio last week, and
Malocchio.
Okay.
They won. So you guys need to reach out to Ortiz and get him to sign some Sicilian dude to reinforce the removal of the Ramocchio from this
Now we're back to Ramocchio.
team. It's either that or this team needs to put on the big boy pants, toughen up, and just beat the damn Colts. We just need to get healthy. Bolt up, will ya?
I'll be honest. There's a lot of words in that, and I didn't understand half of them. They're not my native tongue, if you will. But he's right about one thing. This Chargers team's got to strap on their big boy pants because, good Lord, this is a tough matchup. And where do you want to start? What's your macro on this before we get to details?
Well, we're reporting on this in real time. You know, the Chargers are obviously finishing up their final practice of the week. Chargers official game status as it relates to this upcoming matchup with Indy. Dan, are you ready for this? Questionable tags right now. Darius Davis, as we know that he's gotten back to practice this week. Troy Dye, which I don't like, that he hasn't been able to practice the last couple of days. That's definitely a big one. I think he's core in as it relates to special teams, and I think he's great when it comes to some added depth there at that linebacker position. Dan Hassan Haskins is questionable. I don't like that one at all. I don't like that one at all, especially when you see some of the pass blocking that he was able to provide Justin Herbert last week against the Dolphins. Khalil Mack is officially questionable. We'll go into that one as more detail, but if you asked him yesterday, or I'm sure if you asked him today, he's ready to go. But he says the final decision is not up to him, and let's be reminded that the Chargers are in a short week after this game against the Colts as they play the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday Night Football next week. Denzel Perryman is officially questionable. Dan, I like his chances because I know that he's been putting in some full-time practices 2 days even before the Miami Dolphins game. Jamari Sawyer officially is questionable as well. It would be nice to get him back out there. Doubtful, Joe Alt. So I would assume Elijah Molden. And officially out is Trey Pipkins. Dan, get ready for the same offensive line that you had going out there next week. Get ready for Bobby Hart, the sequel, at right tackle against a better defensive front with better edge players, in my opinion.
Hart and Deckless.
Yeah.
And of note, Bradley Bozeman is not on the injury report, so it looks like he is back to full. There's the Andre James questioning going on this week.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Practiced 2 straight days with the starters, and we were wondering why, and then we found out yesterday that it was due to illness. But today, Bradley Bozeman was back at practicing with the starters, so take that for whatever it's worth. We'll see what happens.
Quentin Johnston off the injury report. Looks like he's full go. It's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So this Chargers team is looking healthier. But to your point, if they can get Khalil back and Denzel back, those are two huge additions for this game specifically. And also, Troy Dye is a low-key pretty important one too, especially when you've got tight end like they got. Jake, where do you want to start?
It seems like it's low-hanging fruit considering who's on the screen right now with Jonathan Taylor and how to at least limit the Colts offensively. So let's flip it to the other side, Dan, because I think that's really going to be where the questions are going to lie. For the Chargers offensively, what are you going to do, especially that you're going to be trotting out the same offensive line, it sounds like, by all indications, that you had last week. Now going up against Latu, Kwity Paye, a little bit better of a defensive front than what Miami was able to put out there against you. And even still, they were able to perform against you pretty admirably. So lots of different things to take away from this. Obviously, we know what Justin Herbert is going to bring. I put the 3 wide receivers on the screen now because as much as it was fantastic to see a breakout game from Kamani Vidal last week, that was the Miami Dolphins. I do not expect a repeat performance by Kamani Vidal. And this is, get your attention a little bit from the standpoint of Hassan Haskins now being questionable, because now, once again, you haven't necessarily made any type of acquisition as it relates to the running back room as of yet. Trade deadline is coming up. So does that mean now that it's going to be in the hands of Naheem Hines-Miller that's going to get some added carries? He was crucial on that last special teams kickoff play last week. And I actually enjoyed him in that role. And with Darius Davis being on the fence, I would be okay with him sticking there. But once again, Dan, here you go with just another question mark to your running back stable. Now, it's better from the standpoint that you get Quentin Johnston back this week. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of questions talking about your most productive receiver going into last week being out of that game. Ladd McConkey just said, the hell with that. We're not going to allow this to affect the win column. We're going to do this ourselves. What I like about this, Dan, is that this should be the matchup that the Chargers are focusing on. And if you take away specifically the third quarter of last week's game against Miami, Greg Roman and the offense found something. And it's applicable that you can use against every single team while your offensive line is still in this type of situation. They started going quicker. They went more to the run-pass options. They went infusing more of the screens. Justin Herbert wasn't taking 5 to 7 step drops that he was taking earlier in that game and getting hit or getting bummed off the rush or not being able to go outside and make plays. They were able to nullify the pass rush during that third quarter and get some efficiency offensively. If you're going to have any chance against the Colts, as Dan alluded to, with as high scoring of an offense as they are, you're going to have to figure out how to attack them defensively. Dan, one of the biggest stats discrepancies between these two teams, the Chargers are last in the league in red zone offense. That's insane from the standpoint of who you have at quarterback and who your wide receivers are. Prior to that third quarter, the Chargers were 5 for 15 in red zone situations on the season. That is not good. You cannot score field goals against this team and expect to win.
That's brutal.
So I think with Quentin Johnson coming back, obviously Lad McConkey, now the last 2 games, his production has started to feel more like the lad of old. Obviously, third and Keenan, however you want to call it, being viable. And by all means, give Trey Harris another handful of snaps. Watch what he can do for you in terms of not only receiving, but from a blocking standpoint as well. If you could start to infuse another receiving element into this, I love what the Chargers could potentially do against a banged-up secondary, even though the Colts are going to have Kenny Moore back, but they're down Travarius Ward due to a concussion. Other aspects of their secondary are not the best. And you can attack them over the middle with a similar type of game plan that you instituted not only in the third quarter against the Dolphins, but in that Chiefs game in week 1 as well.
Yeah, it's this is it's a tough matchup for the Chargers in that there really isn't like a weak spot really on this defense. There are weaker spots, but it's not weak, right? Like this Colts defense is good, man. Top 10 in pressure percentage, top 10 in sacks, top 10, I believe, in hurry percentages. I mean,
how do you nullify that?
There's a few different ways. I mean, a quick run. I mean, a run game for sure helps, right? I think the quick play calls, whether that is like the drag routes, the screen routes, whether it's those quick, I think like the Keenan and Ladd type, maybe it's a Rondé Gadsden as well, Trey Harris. And like, you think about that, that's 5 weapons that you feel pretty good about right now for the Chargers. Keenan, Ladd, Quentin, Gadsden, Harris. And last year we had 1. Like, that's crazy, just to put it in perspective. Again, I think it's the 4th best scoring defense you're going up against. 22nd against the pass, I believe, in yards allowed through the air. You mentioned it, the secondary's back is banged up a little bit. This is going to be a tough one to kind of pound the rock a little, right? Like their run defense, I believe, is top 10 as well. Let me just confirm that. I think they're at like 12th. Just under 100 yards a game, 96.3. Like, you don't got Najee Harris from Martin Hampton this week. It might be your running back 3 and 5. That's hard. Could this be the Justin Herbert bootleg game? Could this be Justin Herbert goes God mode with his legs? Fingers crossed. I do hope that this team utilizes the ability to manipulate the pocket location, like extend it to the outside. Give him time to manage that, right? Like if he is running in control versus running away from, right? Running for a play, I like his chances. But if he's on his heels, try not to get wrecked all the time, like that's tough. That's tough. And, I think the offensive line played admirably for the most part last week. There were still some gaping issues that you saw.
The pressure rate was the lowest that they had given up in the last 3 games. Take that for what it's worth. It still wasn't an overall, performance that you'd want to hang your head on.
No, and again, they opened up some lanes for Kamani Vidal, and again, I harp on this. It's not just the offensive line. Like, if we want to talk about protecting Justin Herbert, we want to talk about opening up run lanes, to me, I'm looking less at the offensive line because at this point, for better, for worse, without Alt, like, we kind of know what they are. Without Pipkins, we kind of know what they are. I'm not sitting here expecting them to be someone they're not. So how can they assist that group, coaching staff-wise, personnel-wise, play-calling-wise? You saw it last week. Go look at Trey Harris out there blocking. Go look at Keenan Ladd. Tucker Fisk was a huge addition. Will Dissly, huge addition. Hell, Kamani Vidal, Hassan Haskins. Like, they are extending and improving that offensive line to where it is formidable, for the most part, with those guys added to protect Justin. We know if it's just those 5, I don't like our chances. But you got to think that Greg Roman and company know that. And so lean more onto those ways that you can help diminish the weakness. But you're right. To me, this seems like Justin is going to have to be creative with how he wins this game with his weapons. I'm hoping that we don't see those 7-step drops, like maybe once in a while, but like I don't want that to be the norm. This Colts team is good, man. This Colts team is good, and they play discipline. They're well-rounded. It's going to be hard. The Chargers offense is going to be a tough task, but when you have Justin and when you have his weapons, I like their chances if they can extend that offensive line with the guys they did last week, because that was something we hadn't seen previously. We'll see. What's your key matchup or two on this, personnel-wise?
Yeah, as I look at this, them getting Moore back is obviously huge for their secondary because their outside corners are not the best as it relates to overall coverage. So I'm going to go, Dan, whatever you want to say, but I'm looking at Quentin Johnston. I'm looking at Quentin Johnston in this game. Depending on what Lou Anarumo is going to do defensively in terms of overall coverage, between Mekhi Blackman moving around again with Travarius Ward being out still due to a concussion, it's pretty big for them.
That's big. That's second best pass coverage player in the NFL on their team, according to PFF.
So depending on how this is going to go, Mekhi Blackman's probably going to shadow Keenan Allen. And then it would probably be Jonathan Edwards going up against Quentin Johnston.
Mekhi Blackman, by the way, Jake Corn to PFF, again, just for context, a rock solid 50.0 coverage grade, according to PFF for the season.
Look, again, I don't expect that you're going to see some deep explosive passes because the safety group that the Colts have, not bad. So if we're talking attacking the middle of the field, especially if whatever this news is about Zaire Franklin all of a sudden not practicing today, the middle of that field should be wide open for them to expose. Get Quinn Johnston on crossing routes. He can win that. We've seen it. He's been more successful with some of his outside passes. We've seen it. That's great. It should be a game for Ladd McConkey, you would think, in that specific area. And again, 3 games off for Kenny Moore, now returning due to an Achilles injury. We'll see what type of percentile he's going to be when he comes back. It's not guaranteed. I don't believe that you're ever going to shut Ladd McConkey down unless Ladd McConkey is shutting himself down.
Yeah.
So he's going to get his targets. Keenan's going to get his targets. Quentin should get his targets. Get Trey Harris involved more in this, but you have to scheme it up properly. Now, you mentioned earlier, Dan, the RPOs or the bootlegs or, things that Justin was having success with in those first 2 weeks of the season. Teams they made their adjustments to that. They did not let Justin Herbert throw well against the run. Now, he got a little bit more success last week against Miami in doing that. But once again, this is a much better defensive front that you're going up against than what Miami had. I think Will Dissly coming back is huge. And that was felt last week. But you got to figure out ways to better protect Justin. And if you can't protect him, then scheme it. Get that ball out of his hands as fast as you can.
Or get him away from the line as fast as you can.
And make it a short game.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Those playmakers on the outside for the Chargers have an advantage over that secondary. I mean, Nick Cross, none of these guys are. I mean, Kenny Moore is the one guy that actually I think I like a lot. Otherwise, I think advantage goes to the Chargers almost every single playmaker on the outside. I think right now, though, Ladd is probably whoever is not with Kenny Moore has a huge advantage. So this is going to be hard. If the Chargers can hold their own in this game, in my opinion, the offense has to carry a little bit more than you've seen in previous weeks.
The Colts found themselves down last week to a Kyler Murray-less Arizona Cardinals team with a Marvin Harrison Jr. that went out during that game due to a concussion. Figure out ways to do it. You can look at this Colts team whatever you want, say that they're overrated, underrated, who have they beat, blah, blah, blah. With the offensive line that the Chargers have, do not take anybody lightly. You cannot afford to.
You lost to the Giants without Malik Neighbors. Stop. Sorry.
The last 3 opponents that you've played have not had their starting wide receivers. As we'll talk about here in about 5 seconds, the Colts have all of their weapons, and they can beat you in a number of different ways.
Yeah, again, Colts team, they have beaten the Dolphins 33-8 week 1. They beat the Broncos 29-28 in week 2. They beat the Titans 41-20. 41-20, by the way. Lost to the Rams by a touchdown, 27-20. Then beat the Raiders 40-6. Beat the Cardinals 31-27. So they are handling business. Now, you want to say, they haven't beaten anybody. Let's talk about the Chargers team. They have squeaked by every game that they've won.
Not the Raiders game. But it's a different grading scale when we're talking about the Raiders here on Chargers, at least.
Sure. But you look at this game. I mean, they won by 25 against the Dolphins. They won by 21 against the Titans. They won by 34 against the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, they can score.
They are beating. It's not just they're beating bad teams, but they are blowing out bad teams. Now, are they healthier than the Chargers right now? Yes. You probably say that about almost every team in the NFL, not named the Niners or the Ravens, maybe. But, don't diminish what they're doing because they are doing what they're supposed to do and then some. But, Jake, this Colts offense kind of scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a style of offense that I think, A, travels well, and B, you can line up against any defense and be all right, see if you can stop this. You've got arguably the top running back in the NFL. You've got a resurging Daniel Jones, who's having a miraculous season, by the way, making himself some coin. I think, in my opinion, already maybe top 3 tight end in the NFL, and Tyler Warren. Love Michael Pierce and Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. They've got playmakers at crucial positions, and they are performing for them right now. This Chargers defense, again, if they could get Denzel Perryman and Mac back for this game, like those are huge.
Can't understate that.
Going up against his offensive line, Jonathan Taylor. Them without those two is light years worse in this matchup.
Yep.
So pivotal. We want to start with this one.
Got to start there. It's Jonathan Taylor. How do you... I'm not going to say stop him because you can't stop him. The year he's having right now that he has started with has just been incredible. He is just obliterating everyone as it relates to the opposing running backs. I know. I have him in fantasy. And this would be one of those weeks that I would not want him to have a 150-yard game.
But did you start him?
3 touchdowns. Yes. Why? Because I don't have anybody else. Okay. So this is kind of, I am a little bit handcuffed in that circumstance. But, Dan, the other big part of this is the Chargers' run defense over the last 2 weeks against the Commanders and the Dolphins has been absolutely abysmal. They are incapable of setting the edge. And yes, that is due to the fact that Khalil Mack hasn't been there. That is due to the fact that Denzel Perryman hasn't been there. And you've essentially seen this since the Bronco game, which timing fitting because that was the game right after Khalil Mack went out. So you saw J.K. Dobbins on explosive runs. You saw what Cam Scadaboo was able to do to you when they hand him the rock over 40 times and have those type of running plays. You saw what Washington was able to do to you. That wasn't pretty. Devon Achane, right after you cough up the ball, the very next play, it's an explosive run to the outside. You're not able to contain. R.J. Mickens misses the tackle, and he's gone. His first 100-yard game of the season that he had last week. And now you're going up against arguably the best running back in the NFL right now with a legit offensive line that is making holes for him with a cachet of weapons that are around him and Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, that you're able to pretty much do anything with. Daniel Jones, as Dan said, on a resurgence tour right now. It starts and ends with Jonathan Taylor. Dan, I went back to some of his quote-unquote worst performances of the year. You take that game against the Los Angeles Rams, even last week against the Cardinals. It was a very slow start for him. Still ended up getting over 100 yards. How are you going to figure out the way to limit Jonathan Taylor? Well, number one, getting Denzel Perryman back is a good piece to that formula. And Dan, let me read you off something here just in regards to Khalil Mack, because, again, reporting on this in real time, Jim Harbaugh is at the podium after practice. When he was asked about Khalil Mack's status for this upcoming week, again, officially listed as questionable, but this is what Jim Harbaugh had to say as in regards to Khalil Mack and his recovery. It's unbelievable. It's like the Wolverine. We'll see. We got 24 hours still to make some of those determinations. What kind of impact would it make? It would be good. That's
an understatement.
Never blowing things too out of proportion is Jim Harbaugh in those circumstances. Dan. We had talked about trench warfare for a long time, and as it relates to this defense, getting Khalil Mack not only assists in the run game, but in the pass rush as well, because this would be now the first game that you would have Khalil Mack, Thule, and Owe as your pass rushers. Mm-hmm. And I think that would get Jesse Minter back to some of those stunts and disguise blitzes that he loves to create when going against opposing defense again, or opposing offenses. Again, you have to hearken back to your week 1, week 2 defense if you're looking to pull this game out with a W. Because the last 4 weeks have not been pretty defensively for you. You have allowed explosive plays, whether we're talking on the ground or through the air. Your pass rush up until last week, even though it still wasn't that impressive, but outside of Thule, your pass rush has been null and void. It has been pretty much non-existent. You haven't been getting that much from the interior outside of Tyler Tart. And you're going up against a team that has Quentin Nelson, arguably one of the best guards in the entire league. Great tackle, great center. Jesse Minder's got to be in his bag for this one, Dan.
Man, Chargers would give their left leg to be able to have the offensive line situation that the Colts have right now. I'm looking at this run blocking group. Do you know all 5 of their offensive linemen? Braden Smith, Mike Goncalves. Is it Goncalves? I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. Bernard Raymond, Bartoloni, and Nelson. Every single one of them has a run blocking grade above 60.
Yeah.
Quentin Nelson, 90.5 run blocking grade. 81.2 for Tanner Bartoloni. Bernard Raymond, 76.5. Their 3 best run blockers are all tackles and guards. They're all offensive line.
That left side of that line for the Colts is nails right now. That's what's keeping Daniel Jones upright. That's what's allowing him to snake fantasy touchdowns away from me on the goal line specifically. But Dan, again, getting back to that discrepancy that we said against between the Chargers offense and the Colts offense, this is one of the best red zone offenses in the league.
Yep. And you look at the pass blocking as well. I mean,
it's pretty damn good.
Pretty dang good. Crazily, Quentin Nelson is actually their worst offensive lineman in pass blocking, at least again, according to PFF. But they are good, man. And what makes it worse, Andrew Ogletree, Tyler Warren, and Mo Alley Cox, all tight ends. They're top 3 pass protectors on their entire team. So again, extending and improving the offensive line, like that's what their guys do too.
We've been talking about the Colts offense now for maybe about 7 good minutes. And I'm just now about to start talking about Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman. That should tell you everything that you need to know. Yep. Tyler Warren has been everything that's been advertised of him going back to college. We talked about him ad nauseum on this show in terms of just a versatile weapon that he can be, not just as a pass catcher, but as a blocker. The Colts are using him just as creatively as he was utilized in college. And Michael Pittman, it may not show up on the stat sheet, but he's as reliable as any wide receiver in the league right now in terms of what he's been able to do week after week for the Colts. This arguably, if you go back to the Chiefs game, and you could say whatever you want in terms of the players that were there and not there for Kansas City. You look at the Denver game, go through the Washington game, the Giants game, who was not there. This is the most complete and dangerous offense that the Chargers have faced all year.
By far.
No question.
Yep. Again, just to give perspective here, this Colts offense right now, they are 4th in yards per game total with 376.8 yards per game. Passing yards, they are 5th. Again, we talk about balance. 5th in passing yards with 245. Rushing yards, they are 6th, 131.8. Then we talk about conversions, right? Let's see how effective they are. How efficient is this team? 3rd down conversion percentage, 47%. That's 2nd best in the NFL. 4th down conversion percentage, 8th best in the NFL, 75%. Red zone percentage, they are 10th best, 65.5% convert to touchdowns.
Repeat that 3rd down conversion rate.
3rd down conversion rate, 47%. 2nd best in the NFL.
That's not good when you...
By the way, Chargers 45.2. They're 5th.
I mean, hey, that's great. But when I see a team that's 2nd best in the league in 3rd down conversion, when I know what this Chargers defense has given up the past few weeks on 3rd down, or more specifically 3rd and long, you don't like seeing that. Again, there has to be a different animal of this Chargers defense that comes out on Sunday.
Yeah, and this is the scary part. Switching over to, so you heard all those numbers, which were basically all top 10, top 5 in most of them. You go and look at the Chargers team on defense, right? Passing yards per game allowed. They allow let me get that stuff right here. 7th most. Excuse me, passing yards, 7th fewest. Whew. Okay, I was going to say. They are 6th best in passing yards per game, 177. Rushing yards allowed per game, they are... That's one that they're not good at. 21st, 124. Then you go to conversion percentage here. This is why, to your point, I'm a little scared. If we look at conversion percentages, this Chargers defense is allowing, where are they? There we go. 38.5%. So that's a big advantage. I think that's what? They're 20th? Yep, 20th in the NFL. Not great.
Not
Red
great.
zone percentage, 31st. Second to last, 42.9. So pretty good against pretty bad. Chargers pass defense is pretty good. That's the one thing I'll give them. But giving up a lot in the red zone, giving up a lot in third down, giving up a lot through the ground. Again, Khalil Mack and Denzel Perryman, huge for this one. And I think this is why this style of offense scares me, is when you're balanced like this, like it can come at you so many different ways. They don't have to rely on like those chunk explosives. They could just beat you to death.
But they have those chunk explosives to go to whenever they want.
Yes. I don't know, man. Like, what's your game plan in this one?
Your pass rush has to be better. Your run defense. I'm not necessarily asking for the world here, because I don't expect this to be a top 10 run defense from 1 week to the next. But and especially going up against Jonathan Taylor, but your run defense, you have to figure out to limit that in some capacity to get a leg up on this Colts team. If to Dan's point, if you allow them to be versatile, you're done. I'll just go on and say it. You're done. If you allow this Colts offense to do what they have done all season, beat you in a multitude of ways, without any other team really being able to take one facet of their game away from them. And if that's a repeat performance on Sunday, Dan, then this is going to be an L for the Chargers, unfortunately. You have to figure out a way. Obviously, getting key personnel back is critical. But in general, what we have seen from this defense the past few weeks, you hope that if Khalil Mack returns with a better three-man rotation at pass rusher between him, Tooley, and Owe, that you can improve a lot of things there. Again, with Denzel Perryman coming back, you would hope that the Chargers would be better against the run. Hopefully you set the edge better in totality. But also, Dan, costly penalties, secondary, not being able to make tackles or taking the wrong angles on certain pursuits. Like literally everything needs to be as tightened up and as disciplined as it has been all year for this game. Oh, Dan, you jumped the gun. I knew you were going to be excited about the X factor that I had on offense today. I knew it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, we talked about all the weapons for the Chargers at the wide receiver spot. We threw in Trey Harris there because we think he should get a handful of snaps, just as worthy of another handful of snaps. And considering how the Colts are in terms of their performance against opposing tight ends, we talked about the middle of the field being exposed. Give it to OG. Mr. Oronde Gadsden. Dan, he showed up big even after a costly turnover last week in Miami. Justin Herbert said, I don't care. I'm going right back to you, kid. Don't worry about it. And man, did he play a critical role for the Chargers the rest of that game. I think you're going to see something similar defensively against the Colts.
I mean, I think you're going to have to. And again, it doesn't have to be OG2 specifically, but like, that short game has to be effective. That short to intermediate route, in my opinion, like that's how this game is won and lost. You've got separators, right? Like I think Oronde Gadsden, I think he had the advantage. I think you look at Quentin, Ladd, Keenan, 2 or 3 of those guys are going to have the advantage. And you could argue probably all 3 if it's Ladd versus Kenny. I'll take Ladd of all of them. And you got Trey Harris. I'm sure we're going to get one of those freaking Will Dissly specials for 12 yards.
Which is never a bad thing, because everybody knows that Will Dissly is a blocker, including the opposing defenses. So why would you ever cover Will Dissly until he gets one of these little passes and goes off for 12 to 15 yards?
I mean, I think the low-hanging fruit is obviously Justin. We know that. Trey Harris could be a sneaky one. But I'm going to stick with what I think I know. This is a lad game. And I don't know if folks saw it, but the Chargers put out something and deleted it awfully quickly of lad after that game-winning catch and run.
Oh, yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but I forget. But give me the effing ball. Throw me the effing ball.
Yeah.
I'm him, whatever it was. I think there are layers to that message. Again, since deleted. We've talked about lad.
I don't know why. It's a true statement. Wasn't slander.
No, but I'm sure there's probably like, well, then who are you taking it away from? It's kind of what maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I think this is
It's a team sport, Dan. Yes. It's a team sport.
This is the hungry lad game, right? Like, yes. This is it. This is it. I'm going to go lad. Defense, what do you got?
It's welcome back number 6 to the lineup, Dan. This again is just, we've already touched on it a little bit, but that run defense is the bleeding that has to stop for the Chargers defensively. Yes, again, fingers crossed, not official yet, but it is a good sign that you've seen from Khalil Mack this week. Again, his mindset is great, but the final decision rests with Jim Harbaugh. And officially right now, Khalil Mack is questionable. So you may not have him for this game. And if that's the case, Denzel Perryman is going to have to be a huge factor in coming up big, not only against this run game, but covering the middle of the field. Dan, he is your best run defender that you have out of this running back group. And again, Troy Dye being questionable for this game. Not what you like to see in the middle of that field with the way that the Chargers are being exposed as of late. So Denzel Perryman coming back, again, cannot be understated enough for how much he's going to give you, not just in the middle of the field, but what he can do against opposing running backs as well. I'm hoping, and again, even Derwin James kind of alluded to this in some comments earlier this week. They even acknowledged it from the coaches down to the players. They need to get back to doing what they do best. They fully understand that their defense has become a liability for this team over the past few weeks. Dan, you called it a show-me game last week against the Dolphins. After dropping the games in horrible fashion against the Giants and Commanders, you definitely needed to show something. And you showed some things. Maybe not everything that we would want to see, but you showed some things. You were able to come out of there with a W in dramatic fashion, which is great. But Dan, this is more of a statement type of game if the Chargers are able to pull out a win here. Big time against a very, very talented Colts defense, or offense, excuse me.
Yeah, and this one, it's, and I don't know if anybody's really talking about this, but Alohi Gilman not being on this Chargers team, right? They get Owe, which is, again, I would do it in a heartbeat. But now Elijah Molden, doubtful.
Yes.
And no Alohi. So you're relying on Tony Jefferson.
RJ Mickens, clearly Derwin. Maybe Kendall Williamson. Like, I'm a little nervous about that, not going to lie. Especially if Elijah Molden doesn't play. To me, though, this is the beef, right? This is why you gotta get paid. Poona Ford has been awesome. I don't know why I keep saying Poona Ford. Tyre Tart. I don't know. I keep saying that. It's the second week in a row. Tyre Tart has been great so far this year. Like, great on defense. Naquan Jones is going to be big. Thule in the run game. Like, this run defense, if you allow them to run all over you, like, it's a wrap. Period. It's a wrap. So, Jake, before we get to bold and game predictions, anything else in terms of X factors? We haven't talked about special teams with Dicker the Kicker. No. But it's like, yeah, of course you talk about Dicker the Kicker. Like, I feel like if we did talk about Cameron Dicker, it's like, of course it'd be there for 2 seconds. Of course, he's nails. Just casually trotted out and kicked a 58-yard field goal last week that didn't even matter because the Miami Dolphins jumped off sides and didn't count. Like, of course, Cameron Dicker is big. And honestly, now that I've gone on that rant for the last 10 seconds, do I think it's going to be a similar type of game for Cameron Dicker kicking as many field goals as he did last week? No. But do I see this coming down to the wire and being a Cameron Dicker type of game? Give me the leg to take the win? Sure. This may turn into a shootout, Dan, which is scary to think, especially for the Chargers, with as consistently as this Colts team puts up big numbers against opposing defenses. Even when they're down, they're still able to find a way to come back, put it on, and close out games in convincing fashion. I don't know. I don't foresee this to be a 10-point difference between teams, especially if the Chargers are in it. But if, as Dan said, if you allow this Colts team to come in here and just do whatever they want to do, then you could see very well a close performance to what you saw in the Washington Commanders game. 27 unanswered points after that first quarter for the Chargers. You don't want to see a repeat performance of that. This Chargers team needs to get better in a lot of different facets. They obviously can only do what they can with the personnel that they have out there right now, especially on the offensive line. But collectively, schematically, coaching-wise, and yes, getting certain guys back are going to help, but you need to go out there at the end of the day and execute. Dan, this is probably be my least confident prediction that I'm going to make all season. And that's even taking into account the level of confidence in this team going into that Miami game, which was low. Mm-hmm. But the quality of the offense that you're facing, I'm going to say that the Chargers are going to find a way.
Oh, my God.
Find a way.
Oh, my goodness.
27-24. Chargers. Here's the other thing, Dan, and I didn't mention this in the Oronde Gadsden X Factor. There was another reason, and I didn't tell you why I chose Oronde Gadsden, because not only are the Chargers debuting their yellow unis for this game, but there is a certain Hall of Famer that is also getting nice recognition at this game as well. And wouldn't it be just fitting, Dan, to not only honor the past by embracing the future?
Oh, here we go. Turn me up.
Like, let's go. Like, Antonio Gates should be in that locker room pregame talking to this team. Let's go to work. Antonio Gates in attendance. Let's not let this man down.
27-24?
I had 27-24.
Look, I'm just going to run out and say it. I don't see them winning this. And
it's all right. I don't criticize you for this one, given the matchup that they have. But I would love for you to be proven wrong.
This is not, and I want to be clear. Like, this is not me being Debbie Downer. This is not me being the pessimist. This is
Everybody's
not
gonna flame.
I know.
The comments. What happened
again,
to you, Wolkenstein?
But again, I am going back to what they have shown me with my eyeballs this season. And if you want to go back to last season, fine. After 3-0, I said this Giants game is kind of one of those like show me type games where like, all right, man, like if you can go back and win 3 of those games that you just had back to back all in division, and you can then beat this, not let it get between you. Dang. They drop it, right? Then you go to the Commanders game, and the way that they lost that The injuries that started coming, like
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing, and that was like the fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So now we're flipping it. They found a way last week. I was not confident in that game last week. And that was against a bad team.
Yes.
You flip it. That team had one loss that you're going to be playing here tomorrow, 2 days from now. One loss. You just played a team that had one win and you squeak by. Could they win? Sure. Am I basing that off of hope and optimism? Yeah.
Well, color me the poster child of hopium in that circumstance because I picked him to win this game.
I'm sorry.
Again, the least confident pick I have made so far this year, but I still did it.
I'm going to go 30-27 Colts.
So you don't foresee a blowout. I don't foresee like a 10-14 two touchdown score difference.
No, because again, like this is a good team. But you're going up against a really good team who does not have the deficiencies that you do. Not even close. The one sliver of hope that I have is this Colts defensive front isn't great. They're not bad by any means, right? They're not bad, but they're not great. I like Kwity Paye. I like DeForest Buckner. I like Latu Latu. I like them, but they don't have the elite guys, in my opinion, right now that the Chargers team has seen over the past month. So other folks where they could just absolutely wreck shop and dismantle your offensive line in 2 seconds, they don't have like that one unicorn. Like they don't have the Max Crosby, the Bradley Chubb. They don't. To that level, right? Like they have quantity and volume of good, but not the elite. So that's like the one area where I'm like, all right, hey, maybe they can suppress some of that pressure. Again, this is hopium.
This is definitely hopium coming out of your mouth. Let me remind you, Justin Herbert has been pressured 100 times, been blitzed the most out of any quarterback in the NFL.
I know.
17 sacks taken on the season. And you're telling me that Kwity Paye and Latu Latu are not going to be able to get their wins against Austin Douglas and Bobby Hart?
Didn't say that.
Hey,
didn't say that.
I'm just saying. There's certain things. It's like, hey, this might help that opposing team that doesn't look like on paper that they have the elites of the world. But you can make them look elite.
Yes, okay. The offensive line clearly does not have the advantage, but the variance of skill isn't as bad. Again, I'm not saying it's good. It's just not as bad as it has been in weeks prior. But again, I haven't taken an L. But if they win this one, I think we're right back to where we were feeling at 3-0. If they win this one,
it'd be huge. It'd be huge.
They get to 5-2.
You're still undefeated in the AFC conference.
Atop the AFC West, most likely getting Joe Alt back the following week. Maybe Elijah Molden comes back the following week. We'll see what happens to Martin Hampton as we continue down the road. You're starting to get healthier. Maybe Trey Pipkins comes back. Fine, we're asking for Trey Pipkins back.
Yeah, I know. So we've hit that level right now.
5-2, taking on all that water would be a damn miracle.
Totally.
And if they are able to do that, you're about to see this fan base flip out in a good way. I'm excited to see these yellow jerseys, honestly. I actually kind of like them. A lot of people are kind of poo-pooing on them. I kind of like them.
I'm interested in it. Again, I wasn't when all the talk about the jersey colors and what the new look was going to be for their throwbacks. I wasn't really on board with the yellow. But I think now that we've seen some of those recent pictures, obviously Derwin here up on the screen, and Justin debuting it earlier this week, just maybe not my choice of the style of photo shoot that I would have debuted yellow jerseys, but hey, I'm not on the Chargers PR team. But hey, still, it doesn't look as bad as what I originally thought. So yeah, I'm excited to see this come out and play.
Hey, if they win, I don't care if it's dog doo-doo color.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And look, they were winless in the Royals. Or Navies. Navies? Maybe they can flip that script with these.
Maybe so. You won the turnover battle last week, something you hadn't done in weeks. You won the time of possession last week. It all depends on what you do this week. Can you get a repeat, if not elevated performance from your defense? Can you take away some of those aspects of the game, specifically in that third quarter against Miami that you did well? Sure, Quentin Johnston would help with that.
Yep.
But in general, Dan, team and coach alike, they got to come ready to play on Sunday.
Pivotal matchup, week 7, Chargers versus the Colts at SoFi. I hope SoFi's rocking. I hope that place is rocking. I know they got a lot of stuff planned for it. That one should be fun. Folks at the game, give us a call on the hotline afterwards, during, whenever you want. I would love nothing more than to have the Chargers come out of this somehow victorious, and you got folks flooding the hotline, walking out of the turnstiles.
Yep.
Turn us up with some of those post-game reactions. Again, you can call the hotline anytime, 323-902-7586. Try to keep it to 30 seconds. Let's try to keep it to that so we can get as many people here as possible. But again, we love doing this. We love interacting with all of you. Jake, if they win this one, we got to give a pretty damn good giveaway. I'm putting that out there. I'm putting that out right now.
Good idea, Dan.
Let's put that out there.
100% down for that. So let's put that out in the universe and let's talk it into existence.
Let's do it. Chargers play at SoFi, 1 o'clock, I believe, Pacific time. What is this team? It's the show me game. What will they show us and what will they show themselves? What will they show the Colts? We will stay tuned and find out. But until then, that's Jake. I'm Dan. This is Chargers Unleashed. We'll talk to you next time.